Well, I didn't get my sound to pick up on this video, so I'm having to go back and do a voiceover because I think this is a very important video that might help you during the holidays. So, I'm going to make a RITZ mock apple pie. So if there's any lag in the video, then you know that just to watch. There's not going to be any sound. But I'm going to try to follow the video and do this as well as I possibly can. Unsure what I was saying at this point, but I do know that I have a thought out store-bought pie shell, and I poked holes in the bottom of it, and then I'm going to set that aside so that I'll have it ready. I'm going to chop some mint, some of my dried mint. I'm going to put that in my mojito with my pestle, and some dried orange peel, because I think that gives apple pies and holiday pies a very good flavor. So I'll grind that in my mortar and pestle until it's fine, as it possibly can be. Now there's probably, it looks like there's going to be some little of that peel that's not going to grind up, but I'll take that out after. I'm going to use my Vietnamese cinnamon. Best cinnamon in the world that you can get is Vietnamese cinnamon. I'm going to do about a half teaspoon of Vietnamese cinnamon. Now this won't be on the recipe that I post. This is my own additions for today. I'm going to put a half a teaspoon of cardamon into my mortar and pestle. Now that Vietnamese cinnamon's the best, and your cardamom, that's just something I do. I mean, you can do it if you would like to, but it makes pies, and especially one that's not really a real apple pie, because I didn't have any apples, so that's why I decided I'd do this today. And you can't tell the difference. And it'll help you if you could do it with an applesauce and then use this if you had a can of applesauce, but these, using the RITZ Crackers. Okay, so now that is allspice that I'm putting in there. I'm putting a half teaspoon of allspice in there, along with my other spices. Now, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar. Now, that's your white, that's what you use in your egg whites when you're, a lot of people, I use a glass bowl, and that gives my meringue there. Okay, so now I'm putting my cream of tartar in there. One reason I decided this mother's favorite pie is apple pie. That's just what her favorite is. And I'm going to see what she thinks about this. And since I've already served it to her, because we're doing this video afterwards, she thought it was wonderful, and she didn't know that it wasn't apples in the filling. So I'm going to tell you, this is a dandy way to do it. So I mix my spices in, and then I'm going to put 2/3 cup of sugar. Now, I don't feel like that that you could use a sweetener in this. I really do not think use a sweetener in this, because you need that sugar with the cream of tartar, and to make that more of a gel-like filling. So we're going to go ahead and use our 2/3 cup of sugar, our 2 teaspoons of cream of tartar, our spices, and let's just mix that into our pan. Get that combined. Yeah, I'm trying out 2 different microphones, and I forgot to turn them on. That's why we're having to do this voiceover, applying the voice to the film afterwards, which is done in big movie companies, but not usually at Billie Jean's. What you see is what you get with Billie Jean. Okay, so we're going to turn that on. Let's turn that up to a boil. Get that, bring that to a boil, high heat, and that's got pretty well combined. But you want to make sure you get all those spices combined, and yeah, I think this Ritz Cracker Mock Imposter, I call it the Imposter apple pie. My grandmother made. It was made in the 60s and 70s. I don't know why. Maybe it was because off season. For sure, back then they didn't have apples all year because they weren't grown in hothouses or brought in from other countries. So if you wanted apple pie, you was kind of out of luck. But this mock apple pie, it's easy. It tastes like apple pie. You can't tell the difference. To me, you can't. So these are the hint of salt. Now those aren't the full ones because the hint of salt, and then I've got a box of the regular RITZ Crackers, but the hint of salt has about 30 grams of salt per 5 crackers, I'm pretty sure. And then if you use the regular, that's like 140 grams per 5 crackers of salt. So if you're on a no salt diet, you can't, but you can get that hint of salt with the blue strip on the Ritz and use those. So we'll get this, that'll be about 35 Ritz Crackers. And there's about, I think I counted, let me see, 30, I'm thinking. $32 or $33, something like that. So I just used one sleeve and it was plenty. So you don't have to worry about having to count your crackers because Billie Jean's already counted them for you. We're going to get that no hint salt crackers. We're going to get this up to a boil. While that's going, I'm going to take some trash out. Try to clean the kitchen a little bit because if I clean it up as I go, then I don't have such a big mess at the end. But sometimes I still have a big mess at the end because I have too small of a kitchen. I don't have anywhere to set anything, or no. We get that mixed up in there, and make sure your spices and all that. Now I'm going to put about 1.5 teaspoons of lemon juice. I go ahead and put the 1.5 teaspoons in the filling also, because once you do the topping, you're going to put another 1.5 teaspoons with your butter and your brown sugar in the topping. So I go ahead and put 1.5 teaspoons because it seems like it just gives the pie flavor. Since it's low sodium, lemon juice just gives it a flavor that the salt would kind of make up for. But you don't have to have all the salt with that. So if you do it this way. I get that mixed up real well because you want that to get to boiling. You want to do that on medium heat. Now that's a little pie form that I've used. You just cut your dough and then you can use this filling in that little pie and then fry them. The little fried hand pies. You can't tell the difference. They're not real apple pies if you use this for kids. Love those. Okay, we got that up boiling. See there? I ran and took a little trash bag out by the time I got back. Now I'm just going to add my crackers. And I'm going to cook that. I'm going to cook that. See those crackers down in there? Can y'all see those? I guess you can. Well, maybe. Maybe you can. I got my lens. My camera lens. See how those? No. You just let this simmer. So let's turn it down to about 4. Let that simmer on medium to low heat for about 5 minutes. Is all you gotta do. Let that simmer. See, that's breaking up. They're breaking up now. You want it to simmer, so but you don't want it to burn. So that's why I went ahead and took that up. That's about down to simmer. And those crackers will make anybody think that's apples. So you just let that simmer. You don't want it to burn, so since I had my stove so hot, I'm just kind of letting it do its own thing, but I'm picking it up occasionally so it doesn't get too burnt. See, they're kind of looking like apples in a way. Okay, let me get this bowl out of the way. Let me see if I've got. I get my brown sugar. We're gonna need that. Let me get the old German. Got my brown sugar in it. Okay, let's look at that. See now how that's. Let's go ahead and turn that off. See now, if y'all didn't know, that looks kind of like apples. You know, it really does. I'll just let that sit there. Let me get the German box of brown sugar. And then we're going to take, let me open another package of these Hint of Salt crackers, because we've got to have, now for the topping, you got to have a cup of crushed crackers. So we'll open these, and I'll just get a little, let me see, get one of my little bowls here, and I'll put, let's say about a half a sleeve, should be about a cup, we'll see, but I'll just take my mortar pestle, and I'm just going to crunch those. I use this small pestle for so much stuff to crush or crunch or do my. Okay, now those are, you see those are crunched up. Now to those though, we're going to add some more cinnamon. Let's go ahead and add another half teaspoon of cinnamon. My Vietnamese cinnamon. Best cinnamon you can get. It's got the best flavor. Now, and to this now, I'm going to add my 2/3 cups of brown sugar for my topping. So, let me get in that. That's these little German old-timey canisters. they keep that. So let's do 1, 2. Now on this, I don't think you're going to need, that's about 2/3 cup, I would say. But on the topping, I'm pretty sure you could use some of your stevia powder, because I buy this stevia extract powder. It's the, I'll just put a little, since I didn't go all the way 2/3 cup, I'm not going to put much. They don't take but a drop of that. Just a drop of that stevia powder. So you want to get all the lumps and everything out. Okay. Make sure that's all. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get 1/3 cup of butter. And I'm going to melt that into my microwave. I'm going to melt that in the microwave. Now then, see how that's, see how that resembles apples. If you didn't know it. So there, we've got that. Now, we got 1/3 cup of unsalted butter, and we'll get our pie crust that we have out here. You can make a homemade pie crust if you want to, but I just had these and I thought I'm going to just use one of them today. Let's get our apple stuff out. Our apple filling, or RITZ filling. I'm just going to put that in my pie shell. That's all I'm going to do. Clean it out good now, you don't waste. Waste not, want not. Okay. Now, lay that around your pie there. Make sure you get it out. Okay. Let me get my towel. Or one of my cleanup towels. And I'm gonna kind of wipe that. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my butter and I'm just gonna pour it on top of that pie and whip a little bit into that. And then I'm going to take this. I'm just going to add that to my pie. Kind of spread it around on top. Get that little bit of butter and stuff out there. And bring that around. You see these little, them are little brown sugars I didn't get chopped the first time. But they will cook in that. That'll make a good topping, see. Make sure you got it down. And okay, now I'm going to put this, get my boxes out of the way. I'm going to put that in my, make sure there's a little, have to do your finger to get some kind of, make sure your crust looks good. There we go. Just go around with your finger and kind of, if your crust is out of order, just take 2 fingers and your 1 finger. Now, We'll put that in our oven that we preheated to 400. So I'm going to bake that at 400. Let me make sure I'm on 400. Yeah, I'm going to bake that. And I'm going to do that for about 10 minutes first. Then I'll drop that down to 350. And then I'll bake it for about 20 more minutes until that pie filling has set, and it shouldn't jiggle a lot when you move. Now you need to cool that before you serve it. So now we'll get the kitchen cleaned up and get our canisters back before we break them, and I'll be back. Okay, I got the kitchen pretty cleaned up, and now the pie I've had it on there for 400 for about 10 minutes, and then I put my pie shield on there. Let's look at it, see what it looks like. You have to be careful. I love these pie shields, but they get hot as a pan, so you have to be careful. Let's see. Now see, that's not shaky. You can see it bubbling there. Oh, so let's set that over there. Just got the kitchen cleaned up, the stove cleaned up, and now that. And them pans are kind of rickety. See, it's set. So that's good. That's set. Let me get this cleaned off. I just washed this with baking soda and vinegar and water, and then there's never a moment there's not crumbs or something everywhere. Some days I just don't feel like do it, so I get my little scratcher and sponger, and this time I'm going to take some paper towel. Then I'll explain to y'all about that pie. Let's move that over. There we go. See, now that's a pretty pie. We need to let it cool for a little bit, and then we'll cut it. But I want y'all to see the pie. Brown nicely. Everything's going to be good. I'll be back. Okay, I'm not too concerned about letting that cool, because if I did, then overnight it would come out perfect. But I'm not worried about it because we're going to eat it anyway. So I'm going to get one of my china bowls. I'm going to take my cake decorating spatula. I should just get a spoon like cobbler. You could do this in a cobbler and it's perfectly good too. See, if I let that cool, it would come out, but who wants to wait for it to cool? I'm so hungry for this, I can't stand myself. Now see there? Let me move this over. This is going to be Mama's. We're going to get a, you know what? No sugar added. Bluebell. Nothing like a good apple pie with ice cream. Let me give her a spoon. And then she'll go to town with that. I'll tell you. I know she'll be liking that. I told her I was making something. I didn't tell her exactly what I was going to make. But I thought, well, I would surprise her. And I'm pretty sure I did surprise her. So I'll just get a little spoon. That's it. Right there it is. Crust is good. The filling. See that filling? So if you don't have apples, tastes good. I got a little on my finger. I don't usually do that, but I just had to. Get you some no sugar ice cream. You'll be living in high cotton. Okay, that's all my recipes for now. God bless you. God bless us. God bless the United States. And I do wish you here to have some mock apple pie and ice cream. Bye-bye.